Do you invest in the stock market? If so, do you play it safe and look at long-term investments, or do you roll the dice with riskier and more volatile stocks where the payoffs could be huge and immediate? Now, not too long ago, a story ripped through social media as young investors fed up with Wall Street and really their seemingly protected antics, they worked together in an effort to stick it to the man. Well, the new Netflix documentary, Eat the Rich, the GameStop Saga, gives us a humorous look of what went down. This is the account of a group of millennial misfits who banded together online to rescue their beloved GameStop from the clutches of Wall Street bigwigs. It's a viral David versus Goliath story for the 21st century. Now, if you care about Munchies, stick around to the end as I've got a new sweet treat to check out. So this is a 3-part docuseries, but honestly, the episodes are so short and they fly by so quickly, I'm really confused as to why this wasn't just combined to make it a film that's under 2 hours, and that's without cutting any of the existing footage. And just like with any documentary, this is supported by a ton of interviews. We hear from hedge fund managers, investing experts, reporters, and then the GameStop investors who are looking to take down the hedge funds. The documentary does a good job of establishing the mindset and the mentality of the participants by really giving us background on how something like this could even come about. Many of the investors' families were heavily impacted by the housing market crash in 2008, leaving them to have sort of a vendetta, at least in their minds, against corporate Wall Street. Now, this story follows how a subreddit gained popularity as it followed the GameStop stock, that's hard, as it floundered and then was shorted by hedge funds. Now, the doc does a great job of explaining short selling, so even if you have zero clue about the stock market, you can follow along and understand how everything is working. This is a really entertaining documentary to watch. Some of it comes because of the attitudes of the GameStop investors, who were looking to just ruin the hedge funds. They operate on a completely different mindset than typical Wall Street. They don't play by the same rules. They're disruptive and ingenious, and they understand social media and then the collective strength that they have in mass, which I think is funny to see how the stodgier corporate types don't necessarily know how to combat this because it goes against everything that they've traditionally done. And that's where the investing app Robinhood comes into play, which is a huge twist in this story, especially in the long term for how things shake out. Now, it is a bit shady. Well, honestly, it's super shady with some of the behind-the-scenes workings, but at least there's this fitting resolution that's showcased later on in the storytelling. And the pace of this storytelling is quick and moving, but it's not rushed. It's also told chronologically so we can see how events play out and then how one action affects the trajectory of another. There's some controversy that's raised within the storytelling at how certain characters behaved and then provided information. And as the documentary gets into the final episode, we see how the government gets involved. And it is sadly hilarious at how out of their depth these politicians are. Even the documentary points out how out of touch these people are with how technology and the internet work. And then some of the things they say are just ludicrous. We have one politician who got involved because their nephew was investing and then losing money. Hello, welcome to the free market. If the dude makes poor investments and loses money, that's a learning opportunity, not something to be regulated. There are also weird complaints about how Robinhood's app appeared visually. Now, it showed confetti dropping when a trade was made, and these politicians, they have zero clue about apps, the app economy, or what disruptive methods apps have to create just in order to be noticed, let alone used. But there is a bunch of sketchy stuff that went on with Robinhood and some hedge funds and investment firms. Now, the content is examined, and I found it to be frustrating and uncool at how certain things went down. But like I mentioned earlier, there is a resolution that's given to us towards the end of the documentary. And I think while this documentary is telling the story more from the viewpoint of the everyday retail investors, there's still a somewhat balanced look at how corporate investment firms work and then what's required of them. Yeah, the retail investors are still upheld to be the little guys taking on the indomitable powers of hedge funds, but I think that's also what makes this more of a relatable story. We get to see everyday people getting involved in a game that's typically been reserved for the elite and the ultra-knowledgeable. Now, information is being shared amongst the masses, and that balance of power is shifting more towards the center. So overall, Eat the Rich, the GameStop Saga, is a fast-moving and entertaining look at what happens when average citizens combine their knowledge to take on corporate greed. The interviews are engaging with subjects that are entertaining, ranging from devil-may-care snark to exasperated frustration. The content is informative and in-depth, but broken down in ways to make it accessible to all viewers. This could have been combined into one documentary film, but as it stands as a 3-episode series, the time is used efficiently and it doesn't outstay its welcome. If you like underdog stories where individuals take on corporations, this is a great watch that's equally informative and enjoyable. There's no sex or nudity, some profanity, but no violence. Now, as a reminder, I don't give couch ratings to documentaries, but I do highly recommend checking out Eat the Rich, the GameStop Saga on Netflix. So, do you invest in the stock market? And by chance, did you take part in the GameStop buying frenzy? Now, if you did, are you still holding or did you sell to make a profit? Let me know in the comments below. All right, so I wanted to try out these Werther's Original Limited Edition Harvest Caramels. Now, they're caramel apple flavored soft caramels, and that is a lot of word caramels. Now, do you say caramel or caramel? I mean, obviously I say caramel, but that's really not the point. So let's see here. I have not tried these. I did open them just to for ease of access, but slight appley smell. Not really any caramel, and I apologize for all that just loudness. That had to have sounded terrible on the audio. Let's see here. These are traditional. I mean, they're soft, which is nice. Oh, super soft. Now, I love caramels. I mean, especially soft caramels. I think those are just, I could eat them a ton, which is kind of why I'm chubby. But this, if you've ever eaten a caramel apple, it has a hint of the apple in it. It's not like biting into just some crisp Granny Smith apple. That's the green ones, right? Sorry. It's hard to talk with the caramel stuck between my teeth there. But this is riveting, I'm sure. The flavor is really good. It is subtle and not overpowering, but it balances really well with the caramel. So you get, when you put the caramel in, you get the caramel taste, then you get the hint of apple, and then more of the caramel. And even now, it's gone other than a little bit stuck to the roof of my mouth. I can still taste the hint of a caramel apple within there. These are outstanding. Now, I don't eat caramel apples very often, and I really don't like apples, but I do love caramels, like I said. But this, I would eat these a lot. These are really, really good. I'm going to pick it up again so it makes a ton of noise. But yeah, the Werther's Original Limited Edition Harvest Caramels, Caramel Apple Soft Caramels. Good Lord, it says caramel 3 times in this little green section there. You probably can't see that because it's not in focus, but whatever. I definitely recommend these. If you're in the mood for caramels, you like caramel apples, give these a try. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me. And it is really still stuck in all my teeth and my roof of my mouth. That's got to be great sound.